Hare Krishna. By the way, Prabhu, there's a lot of space here. Not a lot, but there's some space. Over here. Nobody wants to come in front of the others. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari Gopijana Vallabha Girivanodari Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanodari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanodari Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Vishnupad Paramhamsa Prabhupada Satyasa Shishi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai All glories some of the devotees, all glories some of the devotees, all glories some of the devotees, all glories Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna Prabhus. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 7, Text number 44. This is the good morning news. A lot of good news this morning. You're going to be surprised. Tapyante loka-tāpena sādhavaḥ prāyaśo janāḥ parama-ārādhanam puruṣasyākhilātmanaḥ tapyante loka-tāpena sādhavaḥ prāyaśo janāḥ paramārādhanam puruṣasyākhilātmanaḥ. Actually, we don't have much time, so I'll just go on to the word for word and translation. Tapyante, voluntarily suffer. Loka-tāpena, because of the suffering of the people in general. Sādhavaḥ, saintly persons. Prāyaśaḥ, almost always. Janāḥ, such persons. Parama-ārādhanam, the topmost method of worshipping. Tat, that activity. He, indeed. Puruṣasya, of the Supreme Person. Akhila-ātmanaḥ, who is the Supersoul of everyone. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Purport. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:68 and 69, Ya idang paramam guyam mad bhaktesu vidhasyati na cha tasmam manushesu kaschin me prikritama. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world, but the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore, Shastra says, Tasyaiva heto prayate tako vido na labhyate tad brahmatam uparyada. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord, who is within everyone, supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Tesam nityabhayuktanam yogshamavhamyaham. Again, as stated here, tapyante loka-tāpena sādhavaḥ prāyaśo janāḥ. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned souls are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principle of religion. I advent myself, millennium after millennium. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activity in the world, because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon people in general. The Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Kotava Chalang Pangunang Haite Gurim Yat Kripa Talaham Bande Shigurum Didatana Vanchikalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I beg for the blessings of the senior Vaishnavas here in the assembly that I could speak something which is beneficial and pleasing. I mentioned to you that this is the morning news, the good morning news. So one of the things that sticks out here is that devotees are very compassionate. They voluntarily accept some difficulty for the pleasure of Krishna. In the Nectar Devotion, it's also stated that Krishna, he has unlimited wonderful qualities, but there's one quality that stands out amongst all the others, and that is compassion. And devotees are also very compassionate. I've been staying for some time in Houston, and in Houston it gets very hot. For 3 months last summer it was over 100 degrees. That means about 45 Celsius. Very hot. But they were going out every day, doing the austerity. So also going out on book distribution, there's one austerity that is difficult for people to accept, and that is rejection. Nobody likes to be told no. We all want yes. But sometimes you get a lot of no's. I was distributing in Russia some time back, and I was giving some seminars, and I asked some of the Sankirtan devotees there in the group, have you ever gone out on book distribution and not distributed one book the whole day? And I was surprised. 4 devotees rose their hand. They rose their hand, 4 devotees. All day long they were didn't distribute one book. That means a lot of rejection. But they kept doing it. They kept doing it. And Krishna was pleased. See, Krishna's, he's the best boss. Because these devotees went out all day long. They didn't get any result, but Krishna was pleased. I mean, that's a good boss. Krishna was pleased still. Right? What job? You have a job and you're working all day and there's no result. What's going to happen? You're fired. But if we're sincerely trying to please Krishna, then Krishna is pleased, even there's no result. So this is austerity. Going down book distribution can be an austerity. How many of you here have distributed books? You see? A wave of hands, everybody. So it's an austerity. This shows your compassion also. Krishna is very compassionate, and his devotees are very compassionate. So this is good news, that we're in a society of people that have compassion. They go out of their way, they accept voluntary difficulty to help the suffering people. As one dear friend of mine, Kesava Swami, he says we had to learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable going out and approaching people and getting rejection, and the weather is hot or cold, but we have to learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And Prabhupada was the example. He went to New York City. It was the worst weather in record. It was so cold. Prabhupada's from Vrindavan, never even seen snow before, but he was out preaching. So we could learn from Srila Prabhupada and so many wonderful examples of devotees that are doing this austerity to relieve the suffering of the people in general. Srila Prabhupada says, austerity is the wealth of the Brahmanas. If we do austerity, we become wealthy spiritually. So austerity is very good. The mind doesn't like it, because the mind it's all about me. It's all about me. But the soul wants to go out and help the souls. The soul wants to please Krishna. So when we advance in Krishna consciousness, then it becomes all about Krishna, not about us. And therefore it's stated, yat kuroshi yadasnasi, yat juhosi didasiya, yat tapasyosi kauntiya tat kuru samadarpanam. Krishna says, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you perform, should be done as an offering to me. So this is all about Krishna. We should change our whole mentality. So everything is about Krishna, trying to please Krishna, not about ourselves. This is the ego, the false ego. Throughout the world, there's this major disease called the false ego. We have the formula for curing this disease, and the formula is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This can cure the disease of the false ego and reawaken our real ego. Ego just means identity. So our true identity is servants of Krishna. So this austerity helps to reawaken this reality. Nayan lokusta yagyasya kutonya krusutama. Krishna says that if one does not perform austerity, one cannot be happy in this life, nor the next. Anybody here want to be happy? No? Yeah, we all want to be happy. But there's material happiness and there's spiritual happiness. So Krishna, he's given hints in many places throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, how to attain spiritual happiness. Material happiness is entangling. That's what keeps us bound to this material world. But if we endeavor to please Krishna, then Krishna is pleased. And we become happy, internally happy. This is real happiness. And I wanted to mention that the reason devotees go out on book distribution is because they get some happiness. I mean, I could tell you personally, my most wonderful experiences in this life have been on book distribution. And therefore we have a book called Nectar of Book Distribution. Why is it so nectar? It's not an easy service, it's an austerity. But why do devotees go out year after year after year after year? We have devotees now that have been distributing books for 50 years. Believe it or not, the #1 book distributor in the world last year has been distributing books for 50 years. And he's 73 years old. Brigapati Prabhu. So why? Year after year after year? Because there's a taste. Vijaya vartante. There's a taste there. Giving Krishna to others. It's very pleasing to the heart. And so many amazing things happen. I'll tell you something magical. See, book distribution is also, it's magic. It's amazing. And I'll tell you something. I just got a story yesterday. This is hot off the press. Nobody has heard this story yet. So you'll be the first ones. Two ladies were distributing books in Sydney, disciples of Devamrita Swami. Devamrita Swami has all these wonderful devotees distributing books in Australia and New Zealand. Wonderful, surrendered devotees. So they were going door to door, and one of the ladies offered Bhagavad Gita to the lady that opened the door. And as soon as this lady saw the Bhagavad Gita, she started crying. She said to the devotees there, just last night I was praying to Krishna, Krishna, I want a Bhagavad Gita. I want a Bhagavad Gita. And now you're coming to my door and you're offering the Bhagavad Gita. And she invited them in and gave some refreshments, and they were just having a nice talk about the Bhagavad Gita. And before they left, she said, well, let me give you something. And her son had just finished his first month of work. And he gave her all the money for the month's work. And she gave the whole stack, the whole wad of money to the devotees, because I want my brother, I want my son to be blessed by this service. This is one of the most amazing stories you'll ever hear. This is a Prabhupada story also. Prabhupada had gotten a letter from some person in Brazil who had gotten a book. Somehow he had gotten a book. There was no devotees in Brazil, but somehow he got a book, and he wrote Prabhupada. Somehow he got Prabhupada's address, and Prabhupada got the letter. Please, can you start a temple in Brazil? No temple. This is 1972 or 73, something like that. So Hridayananda Maharaj had just become the GBC for South America. So this is when Prabhupada was in Los Angeles, and Hridayananda Maharaj was also in Los Angeles. And Prabhupada told them, I just got this letter from someone in Brazil that wants us to start a center in Brazil. And Prabhupada gave him the letter with the address. Hridayananda Maharaj, then he went down to Laguna Beach, do some preaching, and there was a Brazilian student there at that temple at the time, visiting the temple. And one of the devotees told this Brazilian person that there's a person upstairs who is now the GBC for Brazil and all of South America. You may want to go talk to him. I said, okay. So he went and was talking to him. And after a while, Hridayananda Maharaj said, you know, I have this address in Brazil. Do you know where it might be? And he handed him the letter. He looked at the address, and this student was completely shocked. His jaw hit the ground. This is my address. This is where I live. And it was his brother who sent the letter to Prabhupada. So this person who sent the letter to Prabhupada, his name is now Dhanvantari Swami. Wonderful devotee. So this is magic. I mean, there's 20 million, at that time there's 200 million people in Brazil. One letter went to Prabhupada. That letter just happened to meet a student who happened to be in Laguna Beach. Now how is that possible? What are the chances of this happening? Inconceivable. This is the magic of Krishna, and you experience the magic of Krishna when you go on book distribution. I was distributing books at a university, and I approached one Muslim man, I had a table there. And I was showing him the book. And he said, this is very interesting. I like it. But if I take this home, my parents will kill me. And I said, well, God is more important than your parents. And he was shocked. Never heard that before. But it's true. And he knew it. He said, you're right, but I still can't take it. So then I said, okay. So he went on. The next day, he comes to me, he said, I'm so glad that you're here, because you won't believe what happened last night. I was sleeping, and I had this dream, and my parents were very cruel to me, using abusive language and just mean, and I was shocked. And then the Bhagavad Gita showed up in the dream, and it's glowing. And I said, you see, I told you, God is more important than your parents. He said, you're right, I'll take the book. One devotee was distributing books, and he distributed a book to one student at a university, and he wasn't that interested, but he thought, anyway, let me check it out, see what it's about. Science of self-realization. So this student was so enamored by this book, he stayed up all night reading it. And then he met some of his friends, and they were discussing it, and he was just amazed about the knowledge that was being given. The next day, this same devotee that was distributing books saw this person again, but he was with some friends. So this person who had gotten the book, he told his friends, my friends, you have to get this book. This book is amazing. I used to be an atheist, and I hated people. Now I believe in God, and I love people. And he told all his friends, get this book, it's amazing. And along with that, the student gave this devotee $50. Didn't want to, he was so appreciative of getting that book, he gave him $50. That devotee is Parameshwar, who last year, actually not last year, but he has the record now for the most distributed books in the whole world. He's distributed more books than anybody else in the world. He's arriving today. Unfortunately, he arrived a little late for this nice function. I'll tell you one more story, and then we're going to hear from my dear friend, Navina Nirada Prabhu. In Africa. Is Srivas here? Srivas here? No. In Africa, devotees were going, they were doing Harinam, and they went by this building. And on the fourth story of the building, this man was calling the devotees up. He was shouting at them, come up, come up. And they were a little surprised. And they said, all right. So they went up. And he told them, this person was a pastor, a Christian pastor. And he told the devotees, I got this book, it was a small book, Path of Perfection. And it was sitting on my bookshelf for so long, months and months. But then I thought, well, let me give it a read. Maybe there's something good there. So he told the devotees, I read that book and I was like, wow, this is so good. This is such nice knowledge about God. And the next Sunday, I gave my sermon, and pretty much all I did was I spoke about what I heard in that book. And so many of the people in the congregation, they came to me and they said, you know, Pastor, that was the best lecture you ever gave. So I'm wondering, do you guys have any more books? So I have some more good news. This is the last of the good news from me. He's going to give you some more good news. 22 years ago, Navina Nirada Prabhu, he was the minister of book distribution, he renounced it. And then the GBC went to Vaiseshika Prabhu to become the new minister of book distribution. But he declined because it requires a lot of traveling. He's a householder, it'd be difficult. Then they went to Brigapati Prabhu, and he also declined because he's also a householder, it'd be difficult, so much traveling. So then they went to me. I'm a brahmachari, so I could travel. So by default, I became the minister. So for the past 10 years, I've been begging Vaiseshika Prabhu, please, you're much more qualified. You should be the minister of book distribution. You know, I'll be your servant. So this year, the GBC asked Vaiseshika Prabhu to be the minister of book distribution. So he accepted. So now Vaiseshika Prabhu is the new minister of book distribution. Haribo! So myself and Navina Nirada, we're now ex-ministers. So now I'll leave it to you. Thank you very much.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Giranjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vijaya Prabhu, for inviting me here. I feel honored, blessed, and humbled in this august assembly with the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. This verse that you are reading today is in regards to Lord Shiva, who took on the poison to alleviate all living entities from the suffering of this world. And in this mood, our acharyas who are following the Mahajans are taking every possible austerity to alleviate the suffering of the living entities in this world. In the prayers of the Vedas personified, it is stated that the cause of the universe is compassion, the compassion of the Lord. The Lord wants to give an opportunity for the living entities to come back to Him. And He also appears and establishes Dharma. And He leaves behind the most valuable instructions which are being carried by Uddhava, which is just coming. This is the sneak preview for tomorrow's verse, because I thought we were going to read the 3rd canto, but we heard a verse from the 8th canto. That Uddhava, he understood the desire of the Lord, and he went to Badrikashram to deliver the message. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that Uddhava considered carrying out the mission of the Lord more important than going back home, back to Godhead. Now, that's quite something to think about. Who wants to go back to Goloka? About a third. The others have not made up their mind yet. Right? Okay, you still got some time here. Uddhava considered carrying out the desire, the mission of the Lord more important than going back home, back to Godhead. Yatredyante katam rishtas trishnayo prashamo yatra nirvairam yatra bhuteshu nodvego yatra kaschana. This 4th canto. Wherever the Bhagavatam is heard, there will be no quarrel, no anxiety, no material affliction, and no envy. At least the time when we hear the Bhagavatam. It's pretty nice, right? That's why you should come to Bhagavatam every day. At least there is some peace in the day. It's a good start on the day. Now again, this year we've probably done about 10 million books. That doesn't sound so convincing. Haribo! yet you have to understand that good is the enemy of great. Srila Prabhupada was not satisfied with mediocrity. He wanted excellence. He wanted something outstanding. There's 8 billion people on the planet. There are some Christian societies, Bible societies, who distribute 10 times more books than we do. So there's still some room for improvement. A lot of room, yes. Every day we chant Paschatya Desha Tarine. Confirmed. Paschatya Desha Tarine. How many times a day do we say Paschatya Desha Tarine? Approximately. Many, many times, right? But do we meditate and do we understand the meaning, the import of Paschatya Desha Tarine? There's this discussion that, oh, in the West you can't preach, you can't make devotees, people are not so favorable to Krishna consciousness. Let's just focus where we get the most result. Let's just focus on certain demographics. Right now, how many here are from India? How many are from Russia? How many are from Africa? How many are from North America? How many are from Europe? You get an idea of the demographic. It's a demographic. Without Western preaching, there would not be Indian preaching. Because Prabhupada tried in India, but it didn't work so well. So he then went to the West, and he recruited Westerners. And with their help, he spread Krishna consciousness in India and all around the world in 10 years. And now is the time that we send some of our hundreds and thousands of brahmacharis and vanaprasthas to the West to preach and to spread Krishna consciousness. As we're speaking right now, there's over 50,000 Mormons preaching in the world. Right now, at this moment, 50,000. They're out on a mission, spreading their belief. So, if you are looking for a mission to carry out, come and see us. We will pay for your one-way ticket. There are very bright places like South America. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj told me I should go to Ecuador. He said, you can eat as many bananas as you like. Unlimited bananas. And I went. I'm going for the 3rd time now. Today's Shiva Ratri, and in 1989, after doing Govardhan Parikrama, my older brother Harinamananda Prabhu and myself, we went to see Buddhimanta Prabhu, who was in the guest house of the Krishna Balaram Mandir, and he was in his last months. Buddhimanta was one of the first big book distributors, the first one who distributed over 100 big books. He was there when they traded the books against petrol. He went around and taught book distribution in many places, in many countries. Prabhupada was very pleased with him. One time he came to Prabhupada's room. Can you stand to the side, please? Thank you. One time he came to Prabhupada's room in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada was having a darshan. And Buddhimanta came in, and Prabhupada was so happy to see him, he took off his own shirt and he gave him his own kurta. Now, Buddhimanta had leukemia, and when we visited him, he was fading in and out of consciousness. He was under a lot of medication. But when he spoke about Prabhupada, it was as clear as the midday sun. And then he looked at us, and he started laughing and laughing and laughing. And he said, I was only distributing a few books, and Prabhupada gave me his own shirt off his back. You're distributing thousands of books. What would Prabhupada give you? He could have said, look, I'm dying. have some empathy, have some pity on me. But he was like Bhishma Dev on the bed of arrows, glancing at the Pandavas, encouraging them, showing his pride, showing his happiness that you're carrying on the mission. The mission is in good hands. Right now is a very important time of the Hare Krishna movement. Many of our seniors, this year 5 GBCs resigned. Many of our seniors are getting in their final round. Many of us are starting to feel that old age is not just a theory, but it's something quite real, quite tangible. So let us take our time to recruit, train, and empower spiritual revolutionaries. Now is a very good time. There's a lot of service to be done, and there's a lot of nectar that we can get. I was in Dallas, and I went store to store, and one shop was a shop of an astrologer. And when I went in, there was crystals, and there was everything, and a lot of different pictures. And there's a young Indian man, and he said that he went to Gurukul in Bangalore. So I showed him the books. He took a few books. We talked. And I said, look, you're trying to help people through astrology. But whatever you tell them, they'll forget that. You have to give them books. Otherwise, no benefit. He said, yeah, I have to give them books. Otherwise, no benefit. So he said, you have books? I said, yeah, I have books. I said, how many books do you need? He said, well, I need a lot of books because I have a lot of people who come to me. How many books do you have? I said, well, I got my van parked outside. So I went out and I brought a few boxes. I filled the whole table with books. And then, this is the dream of every Sankirtan devotee. Then he asked me, well, how much? And I said, well, you know, it's like Gurukul. You give everything as seva, and whatever you give, that's mercy, okay? So I give, and you give whatever you like. So he opened his drawer, and he put his hand in there, and he took out a stack of cash. And without counting it, he just gave me everything he had in his drawer. It was 1 lakh. Next year, I went back, and I brought him the Bhagavatam set and the CC set. So we have done surveys around the world. Less than 10% of our members have a full set of Prabhupada's books. It's shocking. Less than 10% of our members have read all the books. If we, conservatively speaking, say there is 1 million Hare Krishna devotees in the world, that means only 900,000 full sets to go. That's a lot of folks. It's a lot of service. But that also means we have to inspire them. We have to encourage them to read the books, to discuss the books, to live the books. So we are very fortunate to be allowed to take part in this wonderful mission by the mercy, by the sacrifices and prayers and tears of our seniors. We are here today. It is a great blessing. I feel blessed and humbled and very much grateful for this opportunity to be in this movement, to be in your association. And I pray to all of you, please, don't lose track of the mission. Sometimes this is what's called mission drift. We drift off a little bit, and we start taking other things as more important. We get involved in controversy, in arguments, in different factions, and we don't understand that to be a madhyamadikari, Ishvara tadadinishu, baliseshu, dvisatsucha, prema maitrika, kripa upeksha, yakaroti samadhyama. Without jiva doya, without Vaishnav seva, there is no namruchi. It's just a myth. Yes, you can go and buy the t-shirt and sign up for some course or some retreat. But without jiva doya, without compassion for the living entities, without service to the Vaishnavas, namruchi is is minimal. So Srila Prabhupada has shown us by his own example. He labored tirelessly, got up at midnight to translate the Bhagavatam. Yet we are too busy on our phones. We're too busy with our minds, with our attachments. So let us read Prabhupada's books every day. I was in front of the University of California in Berkeley on Telegraph Avenue, right there at the junction. And I approached a young man and he said, "You already asked me yesterday." And I said, how can I tell? You're wearing a mask. You mask people all look the same, you know? So he pulled down his mask and he had a big beard. And he said, "I'm a Muslim, but you're glowing. You're glowing. I want what you have." I said, "Well, here, take it. Here, take it." He took the book. We want pratyaksha. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartumavyayam. We want that higher taste that Vijaya Prabhu was talking about. But it only comes through pratyaksha, through application. Information without application does not lead to realization. And without realization, there is no transformation. It's just external. So, we have this wonderful opportunity. We're blessed with the association of so many exalted Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Let us take this opportunity and in a spirit of service, just like Uddhava, in a spirit of service, how can we bring this message? How can we be part of this Hare Krishna revolution? In this way, we will actually attract the mercy, the compassion of these exalted souls, and our lives will be perfect. Going back home, back to Godhead, it's not a zip code. It's not a t-shirt. It's not a tattoo. It's not a slogan. It's a state of consciousness. It is the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. It's not the Indo-Slavic Society Adi consciousness for designations. How many here are Sankirtan devotees? So about 10% here are Sankirtan devotees. What are the others? What are the others? Okay. But if you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are a Sankirtan devotee. There is only Sankirtan devotees. We don't have Grihastha devotees, business devotees, manager devotees, kitchen devotees. If you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are a Sankirtan devotee. Everybody's a Sankirtan devotee. Last, very short, this is the bonus one, then His Holiness Chapataka Maharaj will give the final address. I was in Bratislava, Slovakia, and I went to a supermarket. The security guard, he looked at me, he said, "Are you a Hindu monk?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Me, I'm Hindu also." I said, "Really?" You know, I wore a black uniform. He said, "Yes, I got 5 books. I read them." I said, "What is the mantra? Are you chanting the mantra?" He said, "Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare." He said, "You and me, we're the same." I was shocked. He understood the concept of one team. One scripture, one mission, one purpose. He understood it. How many of us understand it? How many of us understand it? That is the question that we should meditate upon. We're one team. Either we go back to Godhead together or we're not going. Make up your mind. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. There's a lot of homework. Thank you for your kind attention. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. And if you want to go to South America or Africa or Southeast Asia, come see us. We got some one-way tickets for people who want a mission in life. It is available.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Swami Niti Namine Gauravani Pracharine Paschatya Deshatarine Prabhu Nityananda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Haraya Namah Krishna,
Yadavaya Namaha
Hara Govindaram,
Srimadhusudana
Loka-ātmanaḥ Vajalam,
Pangum Langayate Girim
Sakshitātaman Vande,
Shri Gurum Dinatarinam
Paramārādhanam,
Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram
Hare Om Tatsat.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
So I was listening to all the nectar.
So I
So
was
listening to all the nectar.
How many people এখানে কয়জন বাংলা বোঝায়?
এখানে কতজন বাংলা বোঝেন হাত তোলেন?
They don't know English.
তারা ইংরেজি জানে না।
যারা ইংরেজি একেবারেই জানেন না তারা হাত তুলুন। যারা বাংলা জানেন ইংরেজি জানেন না তারা কয়জন হাত তুলুন?
Around 30.
So what to do? I give a synopsis.
Sure.
So I used to travel 5-6 times around the world every year.
I used to travel 5 or 6 times around the world every year.
So I don't travel that much anymore.
I don't travel that much now.
Only one time maybe, one or two times
1 or 2 times I travel these days
around the world.
around the world.
So a book distributor in Los Angeles asked me, she wanted to do some seva for me.
A book distributor in Los Angeles, she asked me that she wanted to do some seva for me.
I said, tell me a story, a Sankirtan story
So I asked her, can you tell me a Sankirtan story
every day.
every day?
Unfortunately, I don't go so often nowadays to LA.
I don't go so often nowadays to LA.
So therefore, this lady owes me lots of stories.
So this lady owes me a lot of stories.
I remember one story.
I remember one story.
at in the gas station, she was, she just took a book and gave a book to the one.
So in the gas station, she gave out a book.
And this was a Latin guy, a Latin American.
This was a Latin American.
And he was looking at the book,
He was looking at the book.
and some other gang drove into there,
Then some gang drove into the gas station.
shot him dead.
She shot him dead.
I was holding the book.
He was holding the book.
So I was thinking that here's a person, he died holding a Prabhupada books.
So I was thinking, here is a person who died holding Srila Prabhupada's books.
So he must have received a good destination.
So he must have achieved a good destination.
Now, we heard from the previous speakers some very nectarian stories.
You heard very nectarian stories from the previous speakers.
I've been trying to encourage all the book distributors and all the grihastas and everybody to go out and distribute books.
I've been encouraging all the book distributors and all the grihastas to go out and distribute books.
So we have Sankirtan Brahmacharis in Mayapur,
We have Sankirtan Brahmacharis in Mayapur,
our Bhakti Vidya.
headed by His Holiness Bhakti Vijaya Bhagavatam Maharaj.
He has engaged also grihastas.
He has engaged grihastas also.
And some of the ladies,
Some of the ladies,
this is we want everybody, but our Vaisheshika Prabhu said,
we want everybody, as Vaisheshika Prabhu said,
and that Navina Nirada,
and Navina Nirada,
they get the taste,
to get a taste,
the compassion,
the compassion,
the rasa,
the rasa.
I like in South America, one Protestant priest
In South America, one Protestant priest,
said, "You're a guru, I'm a guru.
he said, you are a guru, I am a guru.
Go to guru, let's please talk.
Pardon?
Go to guru, I want to talk."
So guru to guru, we were having a talk.
He was a Protestant.
So he was a Protestant.
And so he asked me some confidential question, how he could be God conscious.
So he asked a question, how he could be God conscious.
What? I gave him some advice.
So I gave him some advice.
And then 3 months later when I came back,
Then 3 months later when I came back,
he again came to see me.
he again came to see me.
Guru
Guru to guru talk.
And then sent all the other people out of the room.
He sent all the other people out of the room.
And under the Christians were priests.
So under his gown, the priest gown,
No, under the collar.
under the collar,
You wear a white collar, right?
they wear a white collar, right?
pulled it down, showed neck beads.
He pulled it down and showed me neck beads.
Also, Christian non-superior.
So,
The Christian non-superior.
there is a Christian non-superior.
Yeah.
Non-superior.
So I told them that there is no difference between name of God and God.
I told him that there is no difference between
Name
name of God and God.
And so her rosary is 54.
So their rosary is 54.
Half of our rosary is
A half of our rosary,
108.
108.
So one day she says, let me try it. Oh, soon.
They said, let me try the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, nobody will see me.
She was chanting
So he was chanting.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
He was chanting Hare Krishna, Hare
She
Krishna.
read some of our book,
So he read something from our book.
and she said this chanting is not powerful. It's just, I feel the same as chanting Hare Krishna, Jesus. But
So-
I feel better. I feel more.
This chanting is more powerful. I feel even better than chanting Mary, Jesus, Hail Mary.
And now she's took initiation.
Now he took initiation.
And she's still a nun.
She, okay. It's not he, it's a she. She's still a nun.
She chants 16 rounds
She chants 16 rounds
and follows all the principles.
and follows all the principles.
So, but books are an important part.
So books are an important part.
And I would get all the, so I was telling me
Swabhas was telling me
how he would go and oversee the book distributors.
he would go and oversee the book distributors.
And one book distributor one man came up, he said, this is some nasty thing.
So there was one man who came up to a book distributor and said some nasty thing.
Pulled out Yogi Bar, what's it called? He pulled out, he said, this is the real thing. This is the real thing. Huh? No. This man.
What he pulled out?
He pulled out one of the bars which are made by the devotees.
Bars, okay. Oh, okay, okay. So he pulled out one of the bars which are made by the devotees and he said, this is the real thing, this is the real thing.
And so, what's his name? Swabhas. So he came up
So Swabhas, he came up.
and he said, you know who makes this?
Do you know who makes this?
Look at the back, it said, New Varshana.
He said, New Varshana.
That's us.
That's us.
Oh, really?
Really?
Then you must be good.
Then you must be good.
I'll take a look.
I'll take a book.
So, I mean, they distributed about 200,000 Bhagavad-gitas at the Ram Temple opening.
At the Ram temple opening this year, they distributed 200,000 Bhagavad Gitas.
200,000 small books.
And also 200,000 small books.
100,000 Prabhupada short biography.
And 100,000 this abridged version of Srila Prabhupada's biography.
See, there's 1.4 million, 1.4 billion people in India.
There are 1.4 billion people in India.
But few of them know about Lord Chaitanya.
But only a few of them know about Lord Chaitanya.
Lord Chaitanya is Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya is Krishna.
But he came down
as
a devotee.
As a devotee.
And he wanted to distribute, he wanted to give out Krishna's mercy.
He wanted to give out Krishna's mercy.
In our Guru Parampara, our gurus,
as gurus,
have said we should distribute books.
Our gurus have said that we should distribute books.
So they're trying to fulfill the
So we are trying to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya.
See, now we have mass printing.
Now we have mass printing.
I had a good fortune to be with Prāyaśo in UK and London.
I had a brief interaction with Vaisheshika Prabhu in London.
Good fortune.
Good fortune.
I always like his association.
I always like his association.
I was saying how in 500 years ago, people would write the books down.
In 500 years ago, I was saying how people write the books down.
And then distribute the books for a particular price.
And they would distribute the book for a particular price.
Yeah.
For a particular price.
Give your life.
Give your life.
You can take one book. Ruin your life and you can obtain one book.
If you give your life, you can obtain a book.
Now it's very cheap.
Now it is very cheap.
And you can get the books that are mass produced.
And we can get the books out mass produced.
And the point is that everybody should have the books and read the books.
The point is that everybody should have the books and read the books.
Actually, we're all part of Krishna.
Actually, we're all part of Krishna.
And we are meant to serve Krishna.
And we are meant to serve Krishna.
To do that, feel bliss.
You will feel bliss.
So this is one of the ways.
This is one of the ways.
Of course, I also am the minister.
Of course, I'm also the Minister for Congregational Development.
After they get the book, they want to cultivate them, buy more books.
After they buy the books, we want to get them to buy more books.
That Vijaya Swami is helping in that.
Bhakti Vijaya Bhagavata Swami has been helping me in that.
And then they want them to start to chant,
Then we want them to start to chant and do devotional service.
We have different programs.
And we have different programs.
But it starts when they get the books.
But it starts when they get the books.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhus. So now some more good news. This is the results of book distribution from temples and devotees around the world.
পাঁচ ছয়বার আমার একজন লস অ্যাঞ্জেলেসে একজন গ্রন্থ বিতরণকারীর সাথে আমার কথা হচ্ছিল, তো একজন মাতাজি আমাকে এসে বলছেন আমি আপনার জন্য একটু সেবা করতে চাই। তা আমি বললাম যে ঠিক আছে, আপনি প্রত্যেক দিন আসবেন, এসে আমাকে সংকীর্তনের কাহিনী বা গ্রন্থ বিতরণের কাহিনী বলবেন। তো আমার মনে আছে একটা কাহিনী, যেটা হচ্ছে একজন পেট্রোল পাম্পে একজন মানুষ সে এসেছিল এবং একজন ভক্ত তাকে একটা বই দিয়েছিল। যখন সে বইটা হাতে নিয়েছে সেই সময় কিছু গুন্ডারা চলে এসেছে, গুন্ডারা এসে তারা গুলি করেছে এবং গুলি করার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে সেই মানুষটা প্রভুপাদের বই হাতে থাকা অবস্থায় সে লুটিয়ে পড়ে এবং এইভাবে সে মারা যায়। তো নিশ্চয়ই তার কিছু একটা সদ্গতি হবে, যেহেতু সে প্রভুপাদের গ্রন্থ হাতে ধরেছিল। তো এখানে আমাদের ভক্তি বিজয় ভাগবত স্বামী মহারাজ, আমি সবসময় অনুপ্রেরণা দিই সবাইকে গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করার জন্য, এবং মহারাজ উনি গৃহস্থদেরকেও এনগেজ করছেন গ্রন্থ বিতরণে, এবং অনেক মাতাজিরাও তারা গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করছেন। সাউথ আমেরিকাতে একজন প্রটেস্ট্যান্ট পাদ্রী, তিনি বলছিলেন আমি একজন গুরু এবং গুরুর সাথে গুরুর আমরা কিছু কথা বলতে চাই। তো উনি বললেন যে আমি কি করে ভগবানের নাম উচ্চারণ করতে করতে আমি ভগবত উপলব্ধি করতে পারবো। তো আমি তাকে বললাম যে হরে কৃষ্ণ মহামন্ত্র, ভগবানের সব নাম একই, আপনি হরে কৃষ্ণ মহামন্ত্র উচ্চারণ করার চেষ্টা করতে পারেন। 3 মাস পরে যখন দেখা হলো উনি বললেন আবার আমরা গুরুতে আমাদের একটা আলোচনা হবে। তো তখন উনি তার যে কলার খুলে উনি আমাকে দেখালেন, উনি ভিতরে কণ্ঠিমালা পরে আছেন এবং তারপরে উনি প্রত্যেক দিন হরিনাম জপ করেন। তো এইভাবে একজন খ্রিস্টিয়ান নান সে আমার কাছে বলল যে কি করে আমি হরে কৃষ্ণ, কি করে আমি ভগবানের নামে রুচি পাবো। তো আমি তার সাথে আমি কিছু আলোচনা করলাম এবং পরবর্তীতে সে এসে বলল যে আমি প্রত্যেক দিন 16 মালা জপ করছি এবং দীক্ষা নিল। এখন সে এখনো পর্যন্ত সে একজন সিস্টার হিসেবে, খ্রিস্টিয়ান সিস্টার হিসেবে সে তার কাজ করে যাচ্ছে, কিন্তু সে প্রত্যেক দিন 16 মালা জপ করে এবং দীক্ষা নিয়েছে। তো এইভাবে সবাস প্রভু আমাকে বলছিলেন একটি গ্রন্থ বিতরণকারীর কথা, যে একজন মানুষ সে লস অ্যাঞ্জেলেসে এসেছে, এসে বলছে কি যে আমি একটা বই নাও, তাকে বলা হয়েছে একটা বই নিতে, সে বলছে না আমার কাছে আসল জিনিসটা আছে। বলছে আসল জিনিস কি? বলে সে একটা ব্লিস বার, একটা সুন্দর একটা প্রসাদ, সে প্যাকেট করা খুব সুন্দর প্রসাদ, সেটাও দেখিয়েছে। দেখি বলছে এই দেখুন এটা হচ্ছে আসল জিনিস। তো তখন সবাসপ্রভু বললেন কি যে এটা কি জানেন আপনি, যে আমরা এটা নববর্ষানায় আমাদের ভক্তরা এটা তৈরি করে। ও তাই নাকি? তাহলে তোমরা নিশ্চয়ই ভালো মানুষ, কারণ এইটা খুব ভালো জিনিস, তাহলে তোমরাও নিশ্চয়ই ভালো মানুষ। তো এইভাবে সব কিছুতে ভারতবর্ষে প্রায় 140 কোটি মানুষের বসবাস। তো সেই জন্য সেখানে আমাদের গ্রন্থ বিতরণ, আমাদের অযোধ্যাতে গ্রন্থ বিতরণ হয়েছে প্রচুর পরিমাণে। তো এইভাবে আমরা সবকিছুর মূলে হচ্ছে গ্রন্থ, গ্রন্থটা দিলেই বাকি সবটাই শুরু হতে পারে। হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Hare Krishna. Just as a finish on the story on Buddhimanta, Buddhimanta left the world on Shivaratri, which is today. Later on we found out that this was the biggest day we ever had on Sankirtan. I remember I did 252 Mahabig and Big books, 2 Bhagavatam set, 1 CC set. People were just throwing money at us. We didn't know what happened. But later we understood when we heard that Buddhimanta left, that because Buddhimanta had given his life for book distribution, so Krishna said, today nobody can say no. Everybody has to take a book. Buddhimanta Prabhu Ke! Srila Prabhupada Ke! Gaur Premanandi.
Thank you very much, Jayapataka Swami. Jayapataka Swami ki? And Navina Nirada Prabhu ki?
Vijaya Prabhu ki? Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So now we're going to have the awards ceremony, temples around the world that had done very nicely, and also some individuals. Leave some space here. Devotees are going to be coming and receiving awards, certificates, and garlands. So these are temples in different continents. In Africa, the number 3 temple with 13,770 book points, Standen, South Africa. Is Govardhan here? Govardhan Prabhu here? Anybody from Joburg? No, I'm going there, so I'll bring it. Number 2, with 16,601 points, Durban, South Africa. Anybody here from Durban? Okay, number 3. Excuse me, number 1. This is Nairobi, Kenya, Africa, with 17,810 book points.
Haribol, Haribol. Ja.
Here, Maharaj, you can give this to him.
Haribol. Ja, Haribol.
And now
Haribol.
from Australia, number 3 temple in Australia, with 28,065 book points, Sydney, North, Australia.
Haribol.
Anybody here from Sydney? Okay. We're all fired up on book distribution. Number 2 in Australasia, with 35,791 book points, Auckland Loft, New Zealand.
Haribol.
They're fired up on book distribution. I'll have to get them to them. Number 1, with 68,250 book points, Melbourne, Australia.
Haribol. 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 Melbourne.
Come and get it.
Haribol. Gyana Samudra Prabhu from Melbourne. Haribol. Haribol. All the Melbourne devotees.
Put it on, put it on.
Haribol. 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 Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Now from South America, the number 3 temple with 11,622 book points, Mexico City, Mexico.
Haribol.
Anybody here from Mexico City?
Dakhin America.
Number 2 in South America with 35,550 book points, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Argentina. Haribol. Tityo Sthan. Oh, Haribol. Hare Krishna. Haribol. Haribol.
Number 1 from South America with 43,136 book points, Guatemala, Mexico.
Haribol.
Now for Europe, the number 3 temple in Europe with 52,117 book points, Sankirtan Dham, Italy.
Haribol. ইটালি 3 নম্বরে ইউরোপের
I'll get these to them somehow.
সংকীর্তন ধাম।
Number 2 temple in Europe with 53,856 book points, London, Soho, England.
হরি বল।
Nobody here from London, all right. Wow, very few devotees here from these different places. Number 1 in Europe with 122,411 book points, Bhaktivedanta Manor, England.
হরি হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি হরি বল। প্রথম স্থানে ভক্তিবেদান্ত ম্যানর, ইংল্যান্ড।
Okay. Yadubar is not here? Okay, for North America. He's coming. Oh, here we go. This devotee.
হরি বল। হরি বল, হরি হরি বল, 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 হরি বল।
This devotee, Anakandi Prabhu, he was the temple president in the Bhaktivedanta Manor, and he saved the manor from being lost, pretty much.
হরি বল, উলুধ্বনি, উলুধ্বনি, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল।
Fired up. And now for North America, number 3, with 197,375 book points, Atlanta Krishna Life, USA.
হরি বল, আটলান্টা 3 নম্বরে, এটা উত্তর আমেরিকা।
Number 2,
আমেরিকা।
in North America with 258,884 book points, Los Angeles.
হরি বল, লস অ্যাঞ্জেলেস দ্বিতীয় স্থানে।
Just now, anybody here? Oh yeah. Sachin Narayan, come.
হরি হরি বল, হরি বল। হরি বল। ইনি 2.5 লক্ষ আরবি ভাষার গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করেছেন। হরি বল, হরি হরি বল।
Thank you. Oh, okay.
হরি বল।
Thank you, Sachin Narayan Prabhu.
জয়।
And now,
সত্যনারায়ণ প্রভু।
number 1.
1 নম্বরে উত্তর আমেরিকায়।
In North America, with 547,617 book points, ISKCON of Silicon Valley, California.
হরি বল, হরি হরি বল, উলুধ্বনি, উলুধ্বনি, হরি হরি বল। 5.5 লক্ষ গ্রন্থ পয়েন্ট। হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি 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 বল, হরি বল। Silicon Valley.
Just like here in Mayapur, Jayapataka Swami, he is the main inspiration, inspiring all of you to distribute books. In ISKCON of Silicon Valley, Vaisheshika Prabhu, he's inspiring so many devotees to distribute books.
ঠিক যেমন হরি হরি বল। এখানে যেভাবে শ্রীমৎ জয়পতাকা স্বামী মহারাজ সকলকে আপনাদেরকে অনুপ্রাণিত করেন, ঠিক তেমনি ভাবে শ্রীপাদ বৈশেষিক প্রভু উনি সিলিকন ভ্যালিতে সকলকে অনুপ্রাণিত করেন গ্রন্থ বিতরণের জন্য। হরি হরি বল।
And now, in Asia, the number 3 temple.
এশিয়ার 3টি শ্রেষ্ঠ মন্দির।
With 1,369,507 book points, Mumbai, Juhu.
হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল। হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল। প্রায় 14 লক্ষ। হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি বল, হরি হরি বল। উলুধ্বনি, জয়ধ্বনি, হরিধ্বনি, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol.
Devikananda Prabhu.
14 লক্ষ book point.
Devikananda Prabhu was a big inspiration in book distribution there in Mumbai, inspiring devotees.
বোম্বাইতে দেবকীনন্দন প্রভু সকলকে অনুপ্রেরণা দিয়ে থাকেন।
Number 2, in Asia, with 1,587,624 book points, New Delhi, India.
হরি বল। দ্বিতীয় স্থান অধিকারী নবদিল্লি। হরি বল, 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 হরে কৃষ্ণ, হরি বল, হরি বল।
And now, for number 1 in the world and Asia.
এখন বিশ্বের সর্বপ্রথম স্থান অধিকারী
with 1,982,395 book points, Mayapur, India.
হরি বল।
हरि बोल। जाननिवास प्रभु, जाननिवास प्रभु, जाननिवास प्रभु। So I am requesting His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and Bajvilas Prabhu, Devakinandan Prabhu, and His Great Janāḥ Prabhu and other co-directors also I am inviting. So on behalf of Mayapur, this is the team, whole team, cultivately we are distributing books. I am grateful to all the departments. So Janāḥ Prabhu also the power of book distribution in Mayapur. Hari Bol.
হরি বল।
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, thank
all
you.
Mayapur credit goes to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Puruṣasyakh Swami Maharaj and all co-directors and all the departments cultivately this year we force the book distribution and powered by His Grace Janāḥ Prabhu. And
Okay,
sorry mention to also MAB. One MAB member, His Grace Devakinandan Prabhu is here. So you are grateful to also MAB.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mayapur book distribution ki. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj ki. We are very, very grateful to all the book distributors, not only Mayapur, all over the world, especially the Mayapur book distributors who are keeping the victory flag flying very, very high. And we have a victory flag here with us, so we will not only be number 1, we will be the only one. So thank you, Maharaj, for your leadership in book distribution. We are very, very grateful to you for keeping the Sankirtan army alive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Time is gone, please. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So now continue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the top 3 distributors in the world. Number 3 in individuals with 29,618 book points, Kamal Nayana Gaur Das from Juhu, Mumbai.
Haribo! বিশ্বে সর্বপ্রথম স্থানাধিকারী তিনজনের কে ডাকা হচ্ছে সারা পৃথিবী জুড়ে।
Devaki Nanda, you can take. Is Devaki still here? He's coming? Okay. Here, Maharaj. The number 2 distributor in the world last year.
দ্বিতীয় স্থান অধিকারী সারা বিশ্বের মধ্যে।
With 38,806 book points, Parameshwar Das.
Haribo!
He travels all over America constantly.
Parameshwar Das.
He's distributed more books than anybody else in the world.
সবার থেকে সারা বিশ্বে সবার থেকে বেশি গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করেছেন। সারা আমেরিকা ভ্রমণ করে উনি গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করে থাকেন পরমেশ্বর দাস। হরি হরি বল গৌর প্রেমানন্দে হরি হরি বল ওলুধ্বনি 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 হরি বল 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 হরি বল।
And now the number 1
এখন
distributor
সর্বপ্রথম
in the world with 48,093 book points, Brigapati Prabhu.
Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
And now I have some special good news for you. Special category. Unprecedented, never happened in the history of ISKCON.
ইসকনের ইতিহাসে আগে কোনোদিন হয়নি, অতুলনীয় এক সংবাদ রয়েছে।
One devotee in 6 months distributed over 10,000 books. Over 13,000 books.
একজন ভক্ত 6 মাসে 13,000-এরও বেশি গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করেছেন।
His name is Madhava Das.
তার নাম মাধব দাস। হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল।
He's 12 years old.
12 বছর বয়স।
He's 12 years old.
12 বছর বয়স। হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি বল হরি হরি বল। ওয়াও হরি বল হরি বল।
Vijaya Prabhu gave him an entire Chaitanya Charitamrita set.
হরি বল।
And he was inspired by Vijaya Prabhu.
Hari Hari Bol.
He has a whole team of young boys that go out and distribute books with him.
ওর একটা পুরো দল রয়েছে, ছোট ছোট বাচ্চা ছেলেরা, তারা সবাই মিলে গ্রন্থ বিতরণ করে।
Now all of us should bless him that he can give his life for book distribution.
ওর বাবা অচিন্ত চৈতন্য প্রভু দাঁড়িয়ে আছেন এখানে। হরি বল। গুরু মহারাজের পিছনে দাঁড়িয়ে আছেন কালো গেঞ্জি গায়ে।
Prabhupada wanted devotees to dedicate their life for the spreading of Krishna consciousness.
প্রভুপাদ চেয়েছিলেন ভক্তরা যেন তাদের জীবন উৎসর্গ করেন এই কৃষ্ণ ভাবনামৃত প্রসারের জন্য, প্রচারের জন্য।
হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম রাম রাম। Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
One second, Janāḥ Prabhu will give a vote of thanks.
Hare Krishna.
He'll be here today. He's coming today. Yeah. You staying at your place? Oh.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Shri Ki Jai. Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we'd like to thank you everyone for coming to Mayapur and bringing the joys of the worldwide Sankirtan mission. Today is Shiva Yatri. Lord Shiva had to drink an ocean of poison. It's impossible to drink. Nobody can drink an ocean of poison. So what counteracts poison is nectar. And the nectar was that Lord Shiva went to Shvetadweep, and there he was told the Ananta Samhita. He was taught the Ananta Samhita from Lord Anantadev. And this way he counteracted the whole ocean of poison. So the Ananta Samhita is another Krishna conscious book, and Lord Shiva is also joining in. So, Hare Krishna. I'm simply an official priest, so I can pray to the deities. Sri Panchatattva may bless Sankirtan devotees with more and more books. And I pray at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev that he may protect everyone, all the devotees, at all times. And I pray at the lotus feet of Radha and Madhava that they may bless you and eagerly wait your appearance after you've completed the Sankirtan mission, and we all go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
शिवा जननिवास प्रभु की जय, श्रीमद जयप्रकाश महाराज की जय, विजय प्रभु की, नवीन निरत प्रभु की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, राधा माधव सखी वृंद की, नरसिंहदेव प्रहलाद महाराज की, पंचतत्व की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे।
His Holiness Bhakti Vijaya Bhagavat Swami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna, Shuddhi Bhakta Vrinda, আসুন প্রতিদিনের ন্যায় আজও এই মহা শুভরাত্রি শিবরাত্রি মহোৎসব উপলক্ষে আমরা সকলে ভগবানের শ্রীচরণ কমলে, ভগবান শ্রী নৃসিংহদেবের শ্রীচরণ কমলে পূজা ও প্রার্থনা নিবেদন করি। আমাদের গুরুদেব, পরমারাধ্য গুরুদেব এর দ্রুত আরোগ্যতা, সুস্বাস্থ্য এবং সুরক্ষা প্রার্থনা করে। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvi Navadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama